who decided to show up. Welcome to Gene Key 28, another one of my contemplations. The shadow of purposelessness, the gift of totality, and the city of immortality. Our purpose, our true purpose, is to go into our fears. Oh boy, if I heard that, I think of so many years ago, contemplating my purpose, spending so much mental energy trying to understand and figure out with my mind what my purpose is. And purposelessness in the shadow, let's dive into that, is this fear that our life has no meaning. And ultimately, the deepest fear is our fear of death. There's also a fear of living. And we can stay in that frequency with our fears of reacting or making choices out of our life to escape the feeling of not having a purpose and to try to make a meaning out of our life, which ultimately isn't our purpose. As Richard Rudd speaks about, our true purpose isn't about what we do. It's about our quality of consciousness. And it's just about being ourselves and going on the journey of figuring out what the heck that even means. In purposelessness, at the repressive side of it, we avoid our shadow. And the name of this gene key is embracing the dark side. And as he states, it's only when we embrace the dark side, when we embrace our shadows, which it's always worth mentioning in all of these contemplations, that the darkness does not equal negative. It does not equal bad or wrong. It's what makes us human. We would not have light without the dark. We wouldn't understand our gifts if we didn't have the dark and our shadows. So therein lies this quote that he says that our purpose is to go into our fears. I just want to open my page to that note exactly. Yeah, your purpose actually lies within your fears. And we want to avoid them, obviously, because they're uncomfortable. And the ultimate fear of death is like, oh my gosh, like, what is the meaning of life? But that's the point, is to go on the journey, and wanting to know what our purpose is a part of the journey. So even if I could go back and tell myself to not worry so much about what my purpose is, and understand that that's a part of the journey. And as Richard Rudd says, that this phase actually gets in the way of living. It gets in the way of living. And at some point we have to let go of the mental need to understand our purpose. Our purpose is truly just about living well. In the shadow frequency, purposelessness, when we're stuck in our fears or in our victimhood, we avoid our purpose. We avoid who it is that we really are, because we're not able to embrace our shadows. And that frequency of fear is very contagious, and it can cause us to be reactive. And how do we get out of this fear? I know a lot of us, I myself, feel fear. And the simple antidote, I love that Richard Rudd shares, is one, loving touch. You can lovingly touch yourself if you don't have anybody in your life. And the second one is breath, and just breathing deeply. And those simple things will elevate our frequency enough to eventually allow the fear to just dissipate and go away. And the gift of totality, as we raise our frequency, we step into the gift of our totality. And that is just embracing our dark, our light, all the human emotions, and embracing our unique life path and living life totally without holding back, experiencing it all. the genius of really being alive is experienced at the gift level. And this is where our creativity starts to come out, and we start to, understand our purpose is just about being ourselves. And in that, we want to be altruistic, and, being of service isn't necessarily about just having a role that is of being of service and having an offering or whatever. It's just totally living your life, your unique life, your path. And he speaks about this gene key being really tied to myth. And he even uses a quote by Joseph Campbell in his audio that I love, that says, people aren't really looking for the meaning of life as much as they are looking for the experience of being alive. And more immortality, let's get into the city. With all the cities, it's all about somebody who is able to be in the present moment 24/7. It's just being completely present. And obviously, as we are, navigating through the frequencies, the more we are able to be with our true feelings, be with our fears, be present with our whole experience, even the struggles. This presence, this ability to be present awakens in us, and we start to touch the idea of that part of us that transcends death, that transcends the physical, the emotional, and the mental, and that's presence. And this presence is always there. It's there before we are born. It's there after we die. It's there in the shadow. It's there through our whole human journey. And it's up to us to create space and to be with this presence, as this presence. This is our essence as humans. But of course, we can get stuck in lower frequencies, and fear is just a frequency that can grip us. But as we ascend in the frequency levels and we let go of the fear, we're able to live totally. And contemplating death and our mortality is what brings meaning to the present moment. It's what brings meaning to our life. So I'll finish with this question, a good reflection question. If you're experiencing any struggles or challenges or uncomfortable feelings, are you able to just sit with it and embrace it rather than do something to change it, to fix it, to get out of it? Are you able to be with the fear? And what if whatever you're experiencing right now is actually just a stepping stone to your growth or to a creative force? Are you able to be in that uncertainty in the dark? I'd love to hear from you. Share whatever you feel like sharing, and I'll see you in the next video.